going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports MLB Swing for the Fences show. I'm your host, Mangone. I'm here with Hoop. I'm here with Big T. I got to get the information, though, here on this one. You guys had a little live final showdown yesterday. So how'd it go, Hoop and Big T? We'll start with you, Hoop. How did it go for the live final seat for the golf?
Did not go very well for myself personally. Obviously a nasty MLB slate altogether. Had a lot of Yankees in my lineup, which proved to be the wrong move yesterday. It seemed very, very clear that the Yankees were the best offense, and baseball high variance did not work out well for myself. I know Big T suffered a bad beat late in the evening as well, so it didn't go well for me. Big T can explain his side of things.
Well, Hoop, before we get to Big T, were you able to guess his lineup? Did you have it all figured out from watching the show yesterday when you took all your notes? When you were building, were you like, oh, I know he's going this guy, I know he's going this guy? Did he surprise you with anything?
Yeah, that's the beauty of me and Big T. Big T could have probably pegged 80 to 90% of Hoop's lineup, and Hoop could have pegged about 80 to 90% of Big T's lineup. We knew where each other was going. It was a 4-man contest, and like I said, that one did not work out so well for either of us.
All right, Big T, you can tell us what you wanted with it, but did you check the cash chart before you submitted your lineup, right? Did you look at Hoop's stuff and say, well, do I need to block him anywhere? Or did you say, oh, that guy's in green, he's a dusty play? Give me the breakdown on that.
No, the good thing about baseball is we pretty much play the same teams anyways. He goes a little chalkier than me, but for the most part, we play the similar teams. That's why he crushes it. Hoop crushes baseball tournaments because he goes more tournament-based than cash is. Kind of like golf, too. Me and Hooper, the two sports me and Hooper are definitely the most similar are golf and baseball. And that just so happens to be those two sports. We tied in the golf and we battled in the baseball to get in the golf final. But, yeah, his team was pretty much – I thought we had the two best teams, not just saying that. I mean, the fourth guy in there just had an embarrassingly bad team, like 7 one-offs and dudes that you should never in a million years play. He had like one Yankee or something. Even Empire only had 3 Yankees, which I thought was bad. And we both had 5 Yankees. They obviously didn't do anything. And, yeah, I was in first not all night, but for the end of the night, I was in first. And I thought I was going to get there. I thought it was going to hold. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, Empire being Empire. Banks a single from his catcher and passes me and gets the job done by less than a point. I don't know if it ended up – I think it ended up being less than a point. I don't think any of his other guys ended up scoring. So, yeah, tough beat at the end, but it was an ugly night anyways.
Yeah, it was 0.8 of a point.
Yeah, from his freaking catcher, too. In the bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, freaking catcher, Empire. Come on, Empire.
Yeah, he ran good there. You can say that, but it's okay. You still have a seat. You guys, I'm sure, will do great. You'll be representing RPS like we had a bunch of members doing. So excited about that for you guys.
Yeah, we both got 2 seats too, so we're going to give it a good run. Me and Hoop both got 2. We should find out how many we got total at Run Pure. I know Pensac's got 3. I bet we got JSU's got 1. I bet we got close to 20, maybe more with Run Pure people counting. We should get a little tally so we can root everyone on.
Yeah, that would be nice to find out. And obviously they get like eliminated as it goes on. It's kind of not tournament style, it's Survivor style, right? Like those Survivor tournaments. So that'll be interesting to see. We'll have all the golf content over here at Run Pure Sports, and we'll be giving you all those plays, and we'll be giving them out tonight. Hoop, you'll be doing the golf show, I believe, tonight with Snyder and AP. So tell people a little bit about that because we got the WGC coming up here.
Yeah, well, first off, you might have to represent Team Hoop and Team Big T out in New Jersey because they got these finals lined up on the same weekend as baseball. And, obviously it's going to be impossible to commit to both, especially with golf. You don't know if you made it until like the Sunday before. So you might have to be the RPS representative out there and hold it down for us when me or Big T ships the Millie.
Hey, it's not too far. I can make the trip, put the Run Pure gear on and represent and root the winners home for you guys and bring that good mojo that you need at the course.
Yeah, so we might need that. And what was the other question?
I can't remember what I asked, to be honest.
But I think he was asking you how sexy that golf polo looks.
Yeah, it's actually, you know what? This was from your boy Todd Father, and it is the from the U.S. Open Chambers Bay 2015. It's actually a real nice shirt.
Did it fit his standard of what dressing should look like?
Oh, you don't want his standard of dressing. I saw the guy show up to a family event in white capri pants. All right, literally white capri. What he does now, he's like one of those dudes that wears like the fanny packs and shit like that. Like, it's my brother-in-law, by the way. Big T knows him pretty well, and man, some of these pictures.
The exact opposite of Big T style. For sure.
Complete opposite. Like complete. And then like the wife complains, she'll make comments about like, you wear the same stuff, the same polos, the same gym shorts. You're like, you have no style. My brother's got all this. I'm like, I'm never dressing like your brother. I'll promise you that. I mean, like I said, white capri pants, fanny. What was the thing you had?
He had a purse. It was a freaking purse. A satchel.
One of those Louis Vuitton like strap-on things. Oh man,
it looked like a strap-on thing. You're right about that.
If you haven't changed since before marriage, right? Like however many years you dated before hoop, you're not going to change your style, right?
It's not like I dress terrible. Like if I got something to go to, like I'll get the goods more times.
He made fun of your golf shorts though, your normal golf shorts. He asked if you were going parachuting or something.
Yeah, because he's one of those guys now that has to wear like this super like tight like golf gear and all. You know what I'm saying? No, that's not my style.
No, you don't have to wear that. Just gotta go out there and put the run gear on and look it on the course, right? Because you guys were killing it out there with Hadley at the RP. Hadley, and who was the other golfer you played with? Who?
Danny Lee, my boy Danny Lee.
Yep, and Big T's boy Danny Lee as well. Big T, before we kind of move on and talk about the baseball, people they want to get the NBA takes, right? We got free agency here. My take on the Bulls is they made a nice list of B-list superstars and put together a super team of that. I don't think it's anything special. Sure, they might win a round. Maybe they get lucky and win a second round game, but I don't think they'll do much. But I saw you on Twitter. You're talking about the Lakers making some big moves, right? And those small deals, they can be the difference, I think, sometimes, and people don't realize it. And I kind of agree with you. The Lakers made some nice moves that I think are going to help them out a ton.
Well, this is why in the NBA, as everyone says, once you get the star power, all the little deals look a lot better because you already got the two mega stars, and then you add Westbrook who can help them. I'm not a Westbrook guy, and none of us are really Westbrook guys in NBA. But when he's your third best dude and he's playing with LeBron and he can carry some of that load, I definitely think he's a good fit with LeBron because LeBron needs someone to carry some of that ball handling load and just the offensive load. Huh?
LeBron needs someone to carry his ass. He's done.
Oh.
He's washed.
Especially during the regular season. He's not going to have to do anything during the regular season now. Westbrook's
that's the thing I liked about it a ton. I think some people were like, oh, like the regular season part doesn't matter. Like carrying that where he can rest more, like that's going to go a long ways, right? We saw that happen to them a little bit this year. LeBron was having to carry that team for a long time and having to play a ton. So
I'm muting myself. Someone give me the cue when you guys are done stroking LeBron.
Mute yourself. We don't want you in here anyways with this.
Yeah,
who did they pick up that's going to be a difference maker today? Like who?
Malik Monk definitely helped.
Did you see the guys they had last year?
Carmelo's going to.
They were playing Avery Bradley. You don't think Malik Monk's an upgrade over Avery Bradley?
Same players.
Avery Bradley. Who else did they have, man? They had some.
They added Trevor Ariza is solid, right? I wouldn't hate on Trevor Ariza too much.
Lord,
it helps.
Can we move to baseball? Jeez.
They had the worst roster ever.
I mean, Hoop, you probably want to go back to Andre Drummond and Montrezl Harrell just pounding the paint with
I did see Drummond got signed, huh? But that would be interesting. Him and Embiid together.
And it's the smallest contract ever. Like it's tiny.
Well, I mean he shouldn't have any contract in the NBA. He's absolutely terrible. I mean, it just every team he goes to, it continues to prove my point that like he will never be on a winning team. It's just comical at this point. But continue stroking the Lakers and LeBron, whatever you guys.
No case for the other side of it.
Yeah. And my favorite are like Bean Air in the chat, like bad take, like first round bounce again. Slide into the DMs, Bean Air. We can come up with some kind of.
Ooh, the Lakers first round bounce because there's goods with that.
That's a good take.
Yeah. Hoop, slide on in. We can talk about that very easily.
I'll definitely take action on the.
I don't know what the action. I don't know what the line is, but I'm willing to look at that. I will say that.
Lakers blow. This is my favorite take too. Lakers blow. No one cares. No one cares. Then why does every channel talk about the Lakers and LeBron? Because people want to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are the Dallas Cowboys on Hard Knocks again? Because people like talking about the freaking Cowboys.
Yeah. Joey worked with a great comment. Let's speak about what my Celtics are doing. Yeah, they're trying to get the band back together. It is not a good idea over there in Boston. They're talking about reuniting Isaiah Thomas and the whole band.
Yeah, I saw that the other day. Isaiah Thomas, like, wow, that reeks of desperation. Incredible.
Yeah, they talk about Kelly Olynyk, like literally the whole band. They just wanted to get back. May as well trade for Jimmy Crowder while you're at it. I mean, it's a disaster in Boston.
This Bulls team is funny. I mean, that's pretty comical. Like they think they're going to have a chance at a playoff run with that roster. Who they got? DeRozan. Who else?
Yeah, I mean DeRozan, Levine, Vucevic,
gosh,
Lonzo Ball, and then
what a terrible team! Wow.
So I don't know, Big T, you got any takes on the Bulls? Then we can move on to baseball. Holden's getting mad. He says he's going to give me the Rona if I keep talking about other things than baseball. But what's your
is Holden back from his 4-day weekend again? Is he feeling better today?
I think so. I think maybe. Well, he does have the Rona apparently, right? At least that's what I heard.
That's what happens. He had that bad mojo from his date, and he got the Rona because of it. Yeah, he put his tongue in the wrong spot in the wrong hole.
Oh man, I'm sure that's not the first time that's happened to Holden. So he'll survive. I think he'll recover from that. But before we move on and talk about the baseball, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe on the video. Helps us out a ton. Also want to talk about our members never win segment. I got two guys that won a ton of money here at Run Pure Sports this weekend, right? They had some big weekends in golf. They've done a pretty good job, but we also have some other ones we want to put up. We got MN Nice Cards. He won $72K over the weekend. He's been on a nice little heater. So yeah, I mean, people
been on a life heater. He crushes everything.
Yeah, he's absolutely on fire. I know even AP's mom was sweating it. AP's mom was watching and said, look at MN Nice Cards is at the top. So yeah, it's definitely been awesome to watch his sweats and see him win all the money. He's been absolutely crushing it over here. So hope you guys can join and get on board, get in that Discord chat and chat it up with the members because we talk about all our different favorite core plays, some of the key stats we look at. So be sure to get into that Discord chat. But now it's time to go on and talk about baseball. So Holden can not show up from his vacation and give me the Rona. I do not want that. But let's go over on the top and let's talk about Walker Buehler and Zach Wheeler. Those are two guys at the top. And Big T, you are someone that you like to play your pitchers at the top, it seems like most of the time. I know you like the 4K pitchers at times, but you do like to spend up and just kind of get in your raw points at pitcher and get unique with some cheaper bats. So are you doing that today on this slate? Are you going up to these two guys?
Before I even talk, I want to give Hoop credit because yesterday I give Hoop credit every freaking show now. All I do is just stroke him. But this dude in that 4-man yesterday played a Big T play. He played a 4K pitcher. I'm pretty sure the Hernandez dude I talked about on the show, I couldn't freaking believe it that he had him in there. It was such a good play. He was projected high. It was one of those plays where when I saw the projection, I couldn't believe how high he was projected, and he ended up crushing for Hoop. I couldn't believe Hoop played him. So I'll give Hoop credit about that. How'd you come up with that play, Hoop?
Pitching kind of sucked. I don't know. I knew I wanted to stack two teams, and it actually worked out well. I had the Yankees, and then, I had the Giants in there. And, I was like, I kind of, when I built the team, I was just going to get my offenses and see what I could do at pitcher. If I could get two serviceable pitchers, because when I really looked at it, nothing stood out at pitcher. Like McGill, like I liked him. We talked about on the show, but like not a must play type thing. So I put in the two offenses I liked, and I put in that 4K pitcher, and I could get up to Heaney too. So I was like, yeah, perfect fit. Let's move on. On slates like that, I think it's totally fine to go to 4K. You and I always talk about that. If it was a different slate, if we had some top end guys, if we had some of the guys we had tonight, I wouldn't do it. But last night I thought it was perfect to go 4K at pitcher, just punt it off. And, we always talk about that where you just need to survive the position. If he goes out, and gets 10, you're fine. And, it worked out well where those top end pitchers, didn't do all that well. McGill, Heaney kind of got rocked around a little bit. So yesterday was a perfect slate to do something like that. Now, it didn't work out for me personally because the Yankees laid a complete egg in like the nut spot. So, but yeah, I appreciate the acknowledgement there.
Yeah, that's a classic Hoop move, right? The position sucks, so just go all the way to the bottom. I feel like you do a great job of that, and that's a great cash game strategy too.
I don't think that projection because I didn't notice it when we did the first show, because I always notice stuff like that. I didn't notice it, so either I wasn't paying attention, which definitely could be the case, or I didn't see it. But then when I was on that next show, the Up to Lock show with those guys, all of a sudden it just popped off the page like, holy shit, that guy's got a big check.
They announced him late as a starter. I didn't think
is that what it was? Maybe that's why I didn't notice him.
Yeah, he was announced late as a starter, so he really wasn't in anything. And yeah, 4K popped up. Okay, I'll sign me up.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great strategy to use. And I was going to say, like, we do that with defense a lot, Hoop. I think you're on that strategy when it comes to football. Yeah. Like defense, like you don't love it a ton, but just punt the position and, getting everything else you want, right? So with football around the corner, we got that code RPS Heater 15, or not RPS Heater 15, it's RPS NFL 15 to get 15% off your first monthly payment to lock in for life, Hoop, right? So tell the people a little bit about that before we move into the game.
Well, basically, it's going to be an opportunity to lock in a lower rate month in and month out. It's going to be 15% off, but it's going to carry over every single month. So I don't know what's 15% off, like 80, it's probably like $67, $68, somewhere in that range. That's your rate for life. And if you want to do the bets and DFS, you're looking at $85 instead of $100. So this is going to run for a few weeks here up to NFL. So you can get in now and lock in that rate for life. It's definitely going to go away once NFL starts. So it's a good time to get in now. You can get the baseball content. You can get the PGA content for a discounted rate. And, that rate will carry over month after month as long as you don't cancel your subscription. So locked in at a cheaper price for life. And I think it's a good value. We talk about it all the time. Every single sport covered. I see some sports now discounting their side stuff, like NASCAR. Now there's a few weeks they're still trying to get $200 from you for freaking NASCAR. Why do that when we got the best NASCAR team in the industry here covering NASCAR? We got Coop, Matty Ice, killing it in the NASCAR streets. But every single sport, one roof, MMA, UFC card or a pay-per-view card this weekend, title. We'll have the full breakdown. We'll have the show. I mean, just everything covered. I mean, just one price. Really, really good deal.
Yeah, and then occasionally Big Trucks 44 enters the chat and gives you his NASCAR winners. So
I give my player poll literally like every week. I mean, I'm sure there's been one week where I haven't, but every week I go in there. And I'm not some freaking expert. Obviously, I was saying it was trucks when it was Xfinity, but I do like my chances to make money in NASCAR. I'll say that. I might not be an expert, but I do know how to use the info given to me from Coop, Matty Ice, and our crew to where I can put that into use and pick some winners. So I'll see if I can help in that area.
One last thing before we talk pitchers here. Big T, it is kind of unfortunate that Holden, came down with the corona, because I was looking forward to hanging out with him in a couple of weeks. It's probably not going to happen at this point. So
you think he's still going to have like the Delta thing going on with him when we get there to where we can't get near him?
You're going to have to send Hoop and Big T like 3 negative test results before you can come close to it. I mean, we'll hire a nurse to test Holden before he comes. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about the baseball. I want to try and go game by game. We'll do our best to. We'll see how long pitcher takes. So if we can be a little quicker pitcher, that way we'll be able to do it. That'd be nice. But let's talk about at the top, Big T. Talk about the top end guys. Like, are you going to them on this slate? You mentioned Hoop went down for cheap ones. Is this a day to maybe go for some cheaper options?
I will say, just in general, I think you can go cheap again. There's some cheap guys with good projections today, and it's 15-game slate with a bunch of big offenses that you're going to want some big bats in there. So I don't know. At this point of the year, I don't think you need to go up top. There's no pitchers that just blow me away. Like sometimes when we see these aces, and I always talk about projections with pitchers because it's one of the only positions I think it matters. Well, the only position that matters in baseball, but even in other sports, not a huge projection guy. But sometimes we'll see like crazy when DeGrom's pitching 30 projections and stuff like that. We don't see that. Like, I mean, these 10K pitchers are projected for 20, 18, 16, 19. Sure, it's nice. Yeah, if you can play Zach Wheeler and these guys at the top, go for it. Absolutely play them. They're better and safer options than the dudes at the bottom. But if that costs you a bunch of big bats to get to them, I definitely don't think you need to do that tonight with some of the cheaper options that are out there. So we'll kind of go through it. But at the top, I mean, Wheeler is really the only – I'm not going to play Bueller. I don't play any pitchers against Houston. Can't see myself doing that. Tyler Mahle, or however you freaking say it, Mahle. 10K? Are you freaking kidding me? I don't like Minnesota. Minnesota has struggled all season, but I'm not paying 10K for him. Like, it's not happening. So you can cross him off my list. Mania against San Diego, he gone. No way I'm playing him. McCullers against the Dodgers, no way I'm playing him. Blake Snell against Oakland, no way I'm playing him. Kikuchi, we've talked about Tampa Bay, right? Not playing guys against Tampa Bay the rest of the season. Their offense is really good, although I'm looking at their lineup tonight. Yeah, I mean, against the lefty, this team, I mean, A-Rod's in the one, Cruz, Yandy, you got Meadows back in there, Margot. I'm just not picking on this lineup. Zunino's not in there, but the lineup's still good. Not going to play Kikuchi. Ryu, I'm never playing him. Taijuan Walker hasn't looked good. I mean, he's gone 10-7, negative 14-6. Another case of a guy that just feels too expensive to me. Even though it's in Miami, I just don't see it. I don't need to use him. So really, I mean, you go down to 8K. I'm not playing Maeda in Cincinnati at Good Park. Bumgarner versus old team. Although Bumgarner, I'd be careful because he's a grinder, man. I could see him getting up for this game tonight versus San Francisco, but I'm not going to use him against them. Really, there's no one there. I mean, Cease, I always play Cease against Kansas City. You could definitely go there, and Fried. So 3 guys, I guess, above 8K are the only ones in my player pool. Zach Wheeler, Cease, and Max Fried.
All right, well, let me ask you one more question about FanDuel, right? So Tyler Mahle over there, he's pretty cheap, Big T. And even Dylan Cease, he's another guy over there that I think is a really nice price tag, right? 8.3K, or Tyler Mahle at 7.9. I know you didn't like Mahle on DK, but what about on FanDuel?
I don't worry about pricing as much in baseball. I just don't like him. I don't think he's a good play. I love when they underprice guys like that on FanDuel because people play him, and I still don't play him. I just don't think it's a good spot. Definitely not going to use him.
All right, Hoop, I'll go over to you. I'll ask you the same question because I know you like to play Tyler Mahle. I know you love the Twins, right? Obviously, they hooked up with some money not too long ago. What are you doing with him on FanDuel? What are you doing with the pitchers at the top? You're muted, Hoop. Looks like Hoop is muted and does not. I don't know if you know how to fix it. I don't know what's going on there on Hoop's end, but he is absolutely being a donkey over there right now. So we have no idea.
All right, I'm back. I don't know what happened. Like my Zoom set, like it just disappeared on me. I couldn't find it, but I'm back. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind going to a guy like Mahle, playing the price difference a little bit. I mean, I'd never play him on DK at 10K. I mean, there's no chance. But I'll have him in the player pool on FanDuel. I mean, I'm mostly in lockstep with Big T here at pitcher. I'll throw one more guy into the conversation in this upper range. Like Sean Manaea, I think, is in play for me at 9.4K. Just been pitching pretty solid last couple starts, 39, 34. He's flashing the big time upside. Last matchup was against San Diego as well, and he absolutely dominated them. So he's going to be in my player pool today. Dylan Cease, I like quite a bit at 8.4K. Massive favorite here, has the strikeout upside. Fried as well, I think, is in play. But yeah, my favorite, by far up here will be Zach Wheeler. I mean, just very safe, steady option, and has the upside as well. I mean, if you're looking for a safe pitching option on the slate, I think Zach Wheeler fits that better than anyone else. I just think he's a very safe option, and he has the upside as well. So, Wheeler would be my favorite up top. But I agree with Big T. I don't think you have to come up here. There's some cheaper options I think you can look at today, and another 4K guy that I'm going to have in my pool too. So once we get down there, we'll talk about it.
All right, we'll just go there right away. Tell me about those guys because Big T kind of rattled off a bunch. Who are some of the cheaper options you're looking at? I mean, I think there's some decent options. I heard Madison Bumgarner get mentioned that he thought Big T said maybe he could grind it out, right? Who are some options here that you like in the cheaper range? Yeah,
I mean, definitely not playing Bumgarner. I mean, I'd be shocked. I mean, Big T is not going to play Bumgarner either. I mean, it's literally all his boys on the other side. Like, he is not playing Bumgarner when he knows he's got to go against freaking Darren Ruff and Wilmer Flores. Like, there's no chance Bumgarner's hitting Big T's lineup. But for me personally, some guys that I like down here, I like this Patino guy for the Rays. Good matchup against Seattle, 7.4K, 6.8K on FanDuel. Really good price tag for him. So I'll be on him. A nice K prop too. I believe it's like 5.5 or 6. So Vegas has confidence in him in this matchup. And then the other guy that I like quite a bit down here, well, not quite a bit, but it's same situation as yesterday. You got a 4K starter. This time it's for the Yankees, Luis Gil, kind of non-starter late, and 4K. So I will have him in my player pool as well. Maybe I don't like this lower range as much as I kind of alluded, but Patino I think is a very strong option at 7.4, and I will play this 4K guy too.
Yep, and Hoop, we got the people in the chat. They're asking for your core plays, but like they get yours every day, right? They get the guys that you're on. You put it always in the cash chart, right? You put the guys that are locked. So, tell the people a little bit about the cash chart and some of the stuff you do over there.
Yeah, I mean, my core plays, I know if you remember, there's some confusion a little bit, but my core plays are the highlighted plays in the cash chart. Now, those are more, cash type plays, but I stack more so in cash. I stack in cash a lot more than other people. So really that's going to be my favorite stack that's highlighted in that cash chart. And then basically my player pool for the most part on the cash chart. And we rotate me, Mango, and Title. Whoever is on the cash chart that day, our name is next to it. So today, I'm on DraftKings, Title is on FanDuel. So you will see our plays, listed in those areas. But yeah, my core is most likely the highlighted plays. And if you remember, hit me up on Discord and I can tell you like my favorite tournament stack and stuff as well, for sure.
Yep. So there you go. Again, get into that Discord chat. It's definitely worth getting in there to chat with all the members. And like someone's asking, where's Pete? Well, DC is going to be on the next show, right? So if you want DC, you can catch him on the premium show, Up the Lock, coming up. Big T, give me some of your final pitcher takes at the cheap option. Are there any other pitchers you want to talk about that we haven't discussed?
Yeah, I like the cheap range. I mean, first of all, the Yankees guy, Luis Gil, we don't know a ton about him. At least I don't know a ton about him, but his projection looks good. His stuff looks decent, and he gets a good matchup versus Baltimore. He's 4K. I love these 4K pitchers because, like I said, if you put the top range only in the high teens for projection-wise and you can get double digits from a 4K guy, I would take that every time just because of what it gets you offensively. So if you think he can get you 13, 14 fantasy points, which I do, I think he's a great play. And then you got this next range, like not this next range, but like the mid-range, like Hoop said, Patino, like him versus Seattle a ton. Great park, good matchup. I like him. He's looked good. Then you got guys like Johnny Cueto. I don't think I've played Johnny Cueto in like 6 years, but Arizona sucks. Cueto's actually been decent. I mean, you look at his numbers. He's been solid. I mean, high teens. He's a little cheaper at 7K. I probably wouldn't use him on my main team just because I can get guys like Cease for only 1K more. But if I'm playing 20 teams, like I think I'm going to put 20 in this $100 tournament tonight, I'll play some Johnny Cueto on a couple of those teams. I think he's good enough against this Arizona team to where he can grind out 15 points for me against them. I'm okay with that. Same thing with Jose Suarez going against Texas. Texas, for the rest of the season, really, after the trade deadline, some of these teams are so watered down that I'm just going to play pitchers against them every day. Texas and Arizona definitely fall into that bucket where I'm going to more times than not like the pitcher against them, especially when the pitcher is cheaper, like 6K. I don't think Jose Suarez is great by any means, probably not even good. But look at this Texas lineup. It is so terrible that he has to be able to grind out some points. Well, okay with him. And then, I mean, even the other 4K guy, this Nick Nieder, I mean, you look at him, last 3 games, 8, 10, and 9. He's not going to go deep. I mean, not deep at all. But again, if he gets you double digits, I mean, you just get so much offense. Everyone's going to play Luis Gil over him. Maybe he's a good pivot. So I like all these cheap range guys. A lot more than the top range for sure.
All right, Hoop, give me your final pitcher rankings, and then we'll move on. We'll go game by game, and we'll talk about some of the bats we like.
Yeah, definitely going to be, Wheeler, my safest option for sure. Dylan Cease, I like quite a bit. Mania, and then you come down Patino, and then like the full 4K punt. That's kind of how I have it ranked.
All right, Big T, how about you give us your final pitcher rankings, and then we will move on, talk about the game-by-game stuff, and give out the offenses we like.
Yeah, I'd say number one's actually going to be Luis Gil just because of the price. I love the 4K. I think he can grind out 14, 15 points for me. So I'd put him number one, and I guess Dylan Cease would be two. I mean, everyone's going to play Wheeler, which I'm fine with. I'll have a ton of Wheeler too, kind of just put him in there. But I'm not a big Wheeler guy. Like, I'm not a huge fan of him. If it costs me offense, I'm not going to play him over these other guys. But some of these teams we build, you're going to have salary to be able to afford him. So if I can afford him, I'll definitely play him. But I would put these other – I'd even put Patino over Wheeler, I think. I like that matchup a lot.
I like that call on Wheeler. I mean, a lot of times he ranks very well in projections. But honestly, man, I just don't know really what his upside is, game in and game out. I mean, yes, he's flashed some upside, but more times than not, it just seems like he's going to get you, the safe option, the safe output. Like he's going to go 6 innings and he's going to give up 3 earned runs and he's going to get you 5 to 6 strikeouts. And I don't know, it just seems it's like it's very rare for him to have these really like peak games. So I do agree with that call.
He's got this tough matchup too with Joey Works boy Yadiel Hernandez. He said, "Mark my words, he's going to hit a bomb yesterday." He said, "Mangone, mark my words." Joey Work, what happened?
I don't think it went well for him.
Joey Work, where you at, Joey Work?
But I do want to talk about Dylan Cease real quick. He's a guy that's cheaper, right? And he gets like this offense that sucks, right? The Royals, they're not a team, again, that I attack too much with strikeouts, but they're one of those teams that are kind of giving up. And there are teams who are starting to give up this time of year. So I definitely don't disagree that there are some cheaper options that you can go to instead of paying all the way up for Wheeler. So there's a lot of ways to go on this slate, but let's move on. Let's go talk about the offenses. Before we do that, Hoop, I'm going to go over to you. We got to get those likes up, right? We got to get the subscribes up. We got 522 watching. 133 likes. What's the number we got to go for here?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we really didn't even have to mention it. These people were just pounding the like button, and you absolutely love to see it. Great mojo. I mean, the show flowed well. Today, we're going to have to ask for them. We got about 520 and only 130 likes. So, do us that favor. Get us the like buttons. Get us the likes up, and then at the end of the show, you get the plays of the day. And, so hit the like.
Yeah, and we do have Joey Work in the chat, Big T. He says, "I'm here. He played great. Didn't go yaya."
He played great. He's victory lapping 2 singles. We root for 2 singles, Mangone.
I mean, I don't know about you. I'm not out here rooting for 2 singles.
Joey Work, you got better standards than 2 singles.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Joey Work, this is what you do. You guaranteed us a dong. You didn't get it, so you take the L and you move on to the next day. And you find.
I told him yesterday, right, man? Was that this show or the premium? I said, Joey Work, take tonight off and come back better tomorrow. You got to listen to the advice, Joey Work. Take last night off, come back stronger today.
Yep, and I know Joey Work will come back stronger today. We'll see if he drops in some other guarantee in the chat or not.
And listen, he's been picking winners all season. I've been making tons of cheese off Joey Works, my boy. You can't win them all, though. I mean, sometimes you just throw a bad take out there. I've thrown plenty. Come back stronger today, Joey Work.
All right, let's move on, though. Let's go on and let's talk about the Nationals and Phillies. Let's start right there. We got Yadiel back in the 5-hole against Wheeler. I don't think Joey Work is giving that out again. You got the Phillies against Patrick Corbin. And Patrick Corbin, I heard JSU say it on one of the premium shows. That's a guy he always wants to stack against, right? I mean, Patrick Corbin's not very good. So, Big T, is this a game that you can get excited about?
True. I wish I could sell myself on some Philly, but man, the lineup just doesn't do it for me. We got Hoops boy Hoskins in the 2. I love him. I love Segura in the 1. I love Real Muto in the 4. But after that, man, I do not like the rest of the lineup. So yeah, you could do a mini stack. I'm okay with that, but man, it's a 15-game slate, so I'm going to be picky like always. I'm not going to just play a team. This isn't the 7-game slate from yesterday where Philly in this spot yesterday, I think would have been a decent spot. Tonight we got 15 games. I'm not gonna be on this game for sure.
All right, Hoop, you like your Phillies, right? And it is Patrick Corbin. I don't think this is a bad spot for them if you're going to tell me the Phillies are lower owned. And I think with, a 4.5 implied total, right? Everyone likes to look at those. I know Big T doesn't love them, but like people are not going to play the Phillies, I don't think. And Patrick Corbin is a guy that we can attack.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Phillies, but I agree with what Big T said. Like, yeah, the bottom of this lineup is shit. I don't want to touch these guys down here. So what I'll do is I'll play the guys at the top and feel good about it. I know they're not going to have high ownership. I think sometimes, we talk about all the time getting unique with the way you stack a team, and that's more so on teams that we know are going to be popular on smaller slates. We have a full slate, tonight, 15 games. The Phillies are not going to be popular, so I can just play their best players and have them at low ownership. Segura, who I like, Hoskins, Harper, Real Muto, maybe Bohm, and that's it, and move on. I like them. I'm not going to be playing any Nationals, though, obviously.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Yankees. They got that 10-5 implied total in this game. Big T, I'll go over to you. You like Luis Gil a little bit, right?
I want to ask Sanjay in the chat. He said Joey Work should ask Big T about how Luzardo got a W, Sanjay. W's get W's, so you don't worry about it. Ask me about him. Man, go and ask me if Luzardo got a W.
Did Luzardo get a W, Big T?
Yes, he did.
Correct. That is the answer. So the chat's on fire today, but we're having a good time with them. Let's talk about those Yankees, Big T. Like I was gonna maybe fade him yesterday. I thought, Jorge Lopez sucks, so I ended up going with the Yankees. Right? I was considering Jorge Lopez has upside at times, and he can get the job done, and the Yankees are high owned. But we're going to a team now here where there's a lefty on the mound. If you look at Steve Boynton's handedness chart, right, since I believe it's the last 2 weeks. Yankees have been crushing those lefties, right? So what are you doing here with the Yankees? Are you going back to them and hoping the ownership's down after yesterday's debacle?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough not to. And I'm one of those guys that rides the waves too. And God, loading them up yesterday, I put 150 teams in that, whatever the cheap tournament was, $5 or something. And I played all Yankees, 5 Yankees every team. It didn't work out well. So you guys know how I am. It's tough for me not to come right back with them tonight against this bad pitcher. The problem is the Yankees have just stunk all year. They could easily let us down again, but I'm going to come right back with them. Baltimore's bullpen will struggle. Alexander Wells, I think, is starting. He's not any good. Yeah, I like the Yankees again. I'm going to come back, flip it a little bit where last night we were Rizzo and Gallo a little heavier. Tonight, obviously, I'll go maybe just a tiny bit higher on Judge and Stanton and Gary Sanchez. But I like all of them. I'm going to be super heavy there. I'm not going to play Baltimore. But, yeah, coming right back with the Yankees tonight.
Yeah, Hoop, I know you like to play chalk, and the Yankees are there. They're chalk today, I'm sure, right? But how chalky on this kind of slate? We talk about not caring about ownership. I'm assuming you're just going to go right back to the well and the Yankees in this great spot.
I'll be back on the Yankees today. I mean, the hope is obviously they burned a lot of people last night, so they're a little bit hesitant to go back, which I think will be the case to some degree. And plus, it's a 15-game slate, so that will obviously naturally lower their ownership. But, I'll be going right back to them. And, I think the way you get, maybe a little bit different is maybe look to the lefties here. Obviously, people avoid the lefty-lefty matchup. So, Anthony Rizzo, who hits left-handed pitching very well, I think is a strong play. Joey Gallo as well. Judge, Stanton. It's a strong lineup. Gary Sanchez, obviously a good play. So I'll be going right back to him. As well. And like I said, the hope is they burned people last night. Some people are hesitant, and then we got the 15-game slate. So that will naturally lower the ownership, but I'll be definitely heavy on the Yankees tonight.
Yep. All right, let's move on. Let's go talk about the Indians and the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays are a team that I like to play a lot, right? Especially when I can get them under-owned. And today they should be under-owned against Zach Plesac. Should I play them today, Big T? I like to play them in these spots, but I don't know. Today they're not as appealing as most days.
Yeah, Toronto's a team I like to play on these slates because, first of all, they pound righties. People don't think they hit right. When you look at the lineup, you naturally think they're better against lefties, but they've pounded righties all year. And now they add one lefty bat in there. It looks like has Corey Dickerson played for them yet since the trade deadline?
Not sure. I know Kevin Biggio's on the DL, so that'll be good for me because I've rostered him too much. But
yeah,
I don't
know
if he's going to be in there today yet.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Dickerson's played. Yeah, like I said, I was not paying close attention all weekend to it, but he's a nice bat to add in there, though, just to get one lefty bat in there. I like Toronto. They're a sneaky team tonight. And the good part about Toronto is they can win you any slate. That's what I like about teams with power. Literally any slate, they can score 15 runs and win you the slate. You can't say that for all teams. There's a bunch of teams on this slate that can't do what Toronto can do. And because it's 15 games, there's just physically no way they can be owned. There's no way around it. So, and you take it one step further too. Look at these price tags: Springer 51, Vlad 59, Semien 5K, Bichette 55, Teoscar 49. It fits with my build, right? My cheap guys, my 4K guy, my 6K guy fits perfect. Just we don't have to go to the bottom of the lineup like we always talk about with Toronto. Just play 1 through 5. Play the 5 big bats, get them low owned, play our cheap pitchers with them. And when they go off and you got these guys 10% or lower, you're going to win money. And that's the goal on these slates. Give me all the upside with these batters. I'm not going to play these littler teams like Seattle and Minnesota and Miami and all these shitty teams that can't score. Give me the big bats. I'm going to play the big bats with the upside, and I'll punt pitcher a little bit. Sign me up for Toronto tonight.
Yeah, I don't try to go home run chasing for 9 different home runs from different teams on my lineup soup, but I try to home run chase with some of the teams I go for, right? The Jays are a team that have home run and power upside because 9 runs from the Royals is not like 9 runs from the Blue Jays. So are you playing some Blue Jays today? Because I think this is a pretty good spot here against Plesac.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add. I mean, you guys kind of hit it spot on. I mean, when you stack the Jays, their upside it's slate breaking upside. It's not like, okay, I'm going to get, 10 runs, singles and walks and doubles and runs. When the Blue Jays go off, they go off and you need them to win. They're a team that I'm always looking to stack in tournaments, outside of the real tough matchups with, the top end pitchers. If they're not facing one of these top, 10 to 15 pitchers, I want some exposure to the Blue Jays, especially, in this ballpark. So the ownership should be pretty low tonight. Like you guys said, their team totals, right around 5. There's a lot of teams that have surpassed that, that are currently past that. So ownership should be in check. The lineup looks strong. The matchup I'm fine with, and ownership is definitely in our favor tonight. So I'll be loading up on the Blue Jays tonight.
One edge too, just to polish Toronto. One edge I think I've picked up this year in baseball. Stop stacking the shitty catchers on these big offenses. Like, don't play Reese McGuire if he's in the lineup. Everybody naturally does it, but if you're stacking Toronto on FanDuel, get 4 big bats. On DK, get 5 big bats. Don't waste one of your spots in these stacks on a shitty catcher. The Yankees is different. Gary Sanchez, that's a big bat. These teams, though, like Toronto, do not waste one of your – in Boston with Vasquez and guys like that. Do not waste – if you're going to stack one of these offenses, I'll say it one last time, do not put these shitty catchers in there.
And since you mentioned Boston, we'll go on to that game next. We got Willie Peralta on the mound. Hoop, I'll go to you first. Red Sox are looking like an interesting stack. Another one that I think people might not go towards, and it's against your Tigers, right? The Tigers have a terrible bullpen as well. You get 9 innings out of the Red Sox, which is kind of nice. So what are you doing here with Boston? I think they're a pretty good stack that I might get some exposure to.
Yeah, I'm going to get exposure to both sides. Definitely the Red Sox. I mean, the Red Sox will obviously, when you look at the Red Sox and the Tigers, the Red Sox are obviously going to have way more ownership. I don't see a lineup yet. They typically have a pretty steady lineup, day in and day out. Devers, I think, very strong play. JD Martinez, strong play. If this Duran guy is in there in the outfield, strong play. Verdugo, if he gets good lineup spots. So, yeah, definitely going to be on the Red Sox. But I think the Tigers are the interesting one. Garrett Richards, who has been absolutely horrendous as of late, gets this matchup here at the Tigers. And, the Tigers probably won't have all that much ownership. So, again, you don't need to get cute. Play the good guys, Badu, Scope. Eric Haas is a strong play at catcher. So I do really like the Tigers. You're not going to need a lot of them to get over the field. So this is a game where I really want to target the offense. Red Sox obviously will have decent ownership. Tigers should be pretty low owned tonight.
All right, Big T, I'll go over to you. What are you doing with the Red Sox? I do think it's a pretty good spot. I know Peralta, he has his struggles against righties, and there's some big power righties. There's also some great lefties in this lineup. So up and down, the Red Sox are a great stack. What are you doing with them?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to make the cut for me. Again, it's a 15-game slate. You just can't play them all. We're going to give the same line all show, but I want to narrow it down to 4 or 5 stacks of the 15. I'm going to fade everything else like always. And I just don't love the Boston lineup. I mean, I like a few of the guys, but you're going to have to fade a few stuff that you like tonight. You just can't. I mean, I always give this speech, but if you're playing 5 teams tonight, you shouldn't be playing 5 different stacks. I just think that's wrong. You're spreading yourself too thin to where when your one team goes off, you only got one chance to hit it. And yeah, it stinks when that team doesn't do good like the Yankees last night, but you got to try to win these tournaments if you're playing them. Cash, completely different. I'm not the guy to ask about that. These 2 guys are 2 of the best to go that direction, but you just can't spread yourself too thin. So many people in our Discord in different places ask questions like how many different stacks. So many of them want to cover all the bases, especially on these 15-game slates. They'll play 5 or 6 stacks on their 10 teams, and that's just too many, I think. You're spreading yourself too thin. Just take stands. And you know what happens, too, on these huge slates? The ownership gets spread around so much that sometimes the scoring's lower than you think because, yeah, a couple teams go off, but the ownership is so spread around with guys that don't go off that you eventually – there's so many nights this year where I end up cashing like 3 of my 4 teams without even really doing anything that impressive because the ownership's so spread around. So Boston's going to be a team I probably don't play. I want to see the lineup just to make sure, but I don't think I'm going to be there. I have some interest in Detroit, though, with Hoop, where Garrett Richards has sucked, and Detroit has come through for us. They've hit the ball well. Akil Baddoo has been incredible. Scope's been incredible. Even like Miggy Cabrera has been decent at that price point. Candelario I like. Eric Haas I like at catcher. I mean, 4,900. You want to talk about a good one-off at catcher, like if you're playing Toronto? A guy like Eric Haas at 4,900 is going to be so low owned that when he hits 2 bombs somehow and Toronto's shitty catcher gets 0, I mean, just such a good tournament play. So I'm more on Detroit than Boston here. I'm going to go the contrarian path in this game.
All right. We just got word. The Lakers, they signed not only Talon Horton-Tucker, but they signed Kendrick Nunn. So, Hoop, does that move the needle for you? Are you now on the Lakers?
All right. Now, actually, you know what? I will say that moves the needle because Kendrick Nunn, I think Miami misused him last year. I have no clue with their roster how he was not more involved. That actually does move the needle for me. I think that's actually a really good signing.
You know how many damn roster spots do these guys got? They've signed like 12 dudes.
That is a strong ass move because I always thought last year how like the Heat. I mean, do you guys agree with that? Like misused, like none was dude could get buckets. They needed buckets. Like don't give the ball to Bam Adebayo who freaking sucks. Give it to freaking Nunn who can get the job done. I thought they misused him. I think that's a great signing.
Yeah, it was a pretty good signing there. And you know what that does, Big T, which you'll love? This gives Kay Falik a moment to be able to play more Max Struss in his life, right? With Kendrick Nunn out of there. So you like that, Big T?
Gosh, the Struss. That was painful.
All right, well, a little basketball talk. Doesn't hurt anyone. We'll go right back to the baseball. I like all the takes you guys had on that last game. I like the Red Sox a little bit, but there are, like Big T said, you can't play every team. So, and there's a bunch of teams I've already liked so far, but we will.
There's so many teams, right? Like, I think that's the hardest part about baseball and these 15 gamers is as you go through the games, there's so many teams that you're like, man, I want to play some of them. I want to play some of them. I want to play, but then you end up playing everybody in the field. Like, you don't get any edge by doing that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Let's go on to the next game, which I think we're just going to cross off, but maybe I'm wrong, right? The Mets have a little bit higher total than I expected. You get the Mets and the Marlins in that terrible ballpark. Big T, I guess make it quick for me right here, right? You're not rostering anyone in this park.
I mean, 15-game slate, there's just virtually no chance. I mean, I wouldn't care who was pitching, honestly. 15-game slate, I see no way I would ever play people in this game.
All right, Hoop, any interest in the Mets and Marlins, or do you want to just talk about your Twins against Cincinnati in Great American Small Park?
Yeah, I'm not playing anyone from this game. I mean, 15-game slate, shitty hitting conditions, shitty hitting ballpark. Like, just no thanks.
All right, we'll talk about the Twins and Reds, right? This is a spot where Maeda and Male, they're not like bums on this slate, right? But they're not guys I'm racing to roster. Reds and Twins, Hoop, you like the Twins, and they're in a better ballpark. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be more on the Molly side, like on FanDuel. Like I said, I kind of like him. The tough part here is this is a good, hitting ballpark. But I don't think I'm going to do it. Like, there's some bad pitchers on this slate. Like, why pick on two guys that are probably above average? Like, Maeda is above average pitcher. Molly is an above average pitcher as well. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to stay away from it. Probably cross this. It's 15 games late. Like, you can't get exposure to every single offense. I've rattled off probably, 5 or 6 that I already like so far. Got to make some cuts. And I think making cuts on offenses that are going against, mediocre to above average pitchers, it's a good move. So I'm going to be off of it.
All right, we talked about liking a lot of offenses on this slate. Big T, do you like the Reds or do you like the Twins? Or are we moving right along?
So I definitely don't like the Reds going against Maeda, who's been very good for this year for the most part. I mean, he's been strong. The interesting part about the Twins, they have two of my favorite one-offs of the slate, to where on DK, if you're stacking the Yankees, Jorge Polanco, I love him in this matchup against Melee. In this park, bombs just fly out of this park to right, as you guys know. Great spot. Melee's always struggled with hitters like Polanco from the left side. And Max Kepler, in the 1 and 3 hole, I hate this lineup as a whole because, I mean, REA's in this 5, Sano I don't like, Gordon, Simmons. The lineup overall sucks. I would never stack the full thing. Even Brent Rooker in the 2 hole I don't like. But just as far as one-offs, 2 of my favorites of the whole slate are Kepler and Polanco. So I will definitely have some of them as just random one-off plays.
All right, let's move it along. Let's go to Seattle and Tampa, and I'll go to you, Big Takes. Again, I think you'll make it quick, right? You don't love that ballpark in Tampa. I don't like that ballpark either. I know the Rays were gaining some interest yesterday from some people, but it was a 7-game slate. The total's not as high. It just seems like a good game. Kikuchi and Patino. Let's just stay away from this one.
Yep, another easy keep the show moving along. I'm just not going to play hitters in this park on a 15-game slate.
All right, can we make it 3 for 3, Hoop? Are we just moving along from this one and going over to the next game?
Keep her moving.
All right, before we move on to the next game, let's talk about some of the content we have over here at Run Pure Sports. I want to talk about some of the best ball stuff that we got. Hoop, you kind of put out a little strategy article. Tell the people a little bit about like that, basically how to attack some 3-man and 6-man contests over on the best ball streets. And DraftKings offers best ball now on the desktop version. So many ways that you can play that over there.
Yeah, so I finally started, diving into some best balls. I know Big T will be excited to hear that. Not the big, contest things. I like doing the 3-man, 6-man on that app draft. They used to have 4-man, which I like. I wish DraftKings would introduce some different price points too. I mean, they only have like a $10, $100, and $1,000. So I wish they'd introduce some more price points for they call them sit and goes. But yeah, came out with a little article and just breaks down some strategy involved when drafting these teams, because there is strategy to it. I know a lot of people just go ahead and draft right off the ADP that's listed there on DraftKings, but there's strategy in terms of which positions to select first. Different things you can do against your opponents when you're going through and drafting. So yeah, it's basically, a little breakdown with some strategy points to use when drafting these contests, which can be very profitable. Like I said, I hit it hard 2 years ago and had a very nice return on it. So yeah, that article is up on the website now.
Yeah, we got Snyder's article for his year 2 breakout candidates, and Steve Anthony says the best ball videos are fantastic. So check them out on our YouTube channel. You got Bobby Gomes, you got Simon, our producer, you got Snyder. They're giving you all the takes, so be sure to check that out. NFL is fast approaching, so don't miss out. Let's go over to the next game, though. Let's talk about the Texas Rangers and the Los Angeles Angels. And Big T, I'll go over to you. Again, another park that I don't love. You can make a case like maybe there's a one-off of Nadalis Garcia against a Jose Suarez, right? But I just think it's too big of a slate that I don't need to go there. How about you?
Yeah, it's another tough park. Definitely not even considering Texas. I mean, the only thing you could say is guys like Ohtani are in just a great spot. Obviously, you got the young guy, Joe Adell, 2K in the 6th hole. Some of these pieces look good. Even that Marsh down there, super cheap. But I don't know if you need it on this slate. I want the big offenses. Maybe it's more of a one-off play again with Ohtani versus – I mean, he's going to hit a bomb for sure tonight off Jordan Lyles. So maybe you just take the bomb and kind of go with that. But overall, yeah, I can't see myself full stack in this game. If anything, it would be a mini stack for a team like the Angels, definitely full fading Texas. But yeah, I think Ohtani, not that I'm saying anything crazy, but he's going to hit a bomb for sure tonight off Jordan Lyles.
Yeah, it just depends if you want to pay the price, right? Which again, you don't have to spend up for him on this slate. It just depends what kind of stack you're going with, but he's obviously a great option. Hoop, I'll go to you. You playing some Ohtani, or are you stacking up this game at all?
Yeah, no stacks for me here. It's Ohtani as a one-off and Justin Upton as a cheap price tag. I mean, Upton at 3.2K I think is a value option that we can look at. But I won't be stacking this. I mean, these lineups are just too weak from top to bottom. I mean, the Angels lineup looks honestly just as bad as the Rangers outside of Ohtani. So, yeah, just Ohtani and Upton for me here.
All right, let's move on over to the next game. Let's talk about the Pirates and the Brewers. And I will say, I saw this guy, Max Kranick, pitch against the Brewers last time out in, the Pittsburgh Park, and now we're in Milwaukee, right? Roof should be open as well, I believe. It was open yesterday. I'm assuming it's just open again today. Should be good weather. I think Max Kranick is terrible, right? Some of the stuff that I saw last start, it wasn't good. I mean, he only threw 73 pitches and he gave up 6 runs, 10 hits in 5 innings. Like, it was a disaster for him. I don't think he's very good. Big T, the Brewers have a decent total, and that lineup has gotten better. You had Escobar as your play of the day yesterday, and he was kind of a must-have on the entire slate. So are you going back to some of these Brewers here, Big T?
I think they're another team I'm going to ignore a little bit just because of how big the slate is. But, yeah, I mean, you can go back to them for sure. You just got to – same speech I gave for Boston, really. If you like them, go with them. I don't love the lineup as much tonight against a righty like this. 15-game slate. It's again, if it was the 7-game slate from last night, I would have some interest in this spot. I just don't see myself really playing these guys. The only guy I like, again, is Escobar. And I would put him in the one-off bucket. You could definitely play Escobar, but I like other guys more tonight. This game's going to be a fade for me.
All right. I like the Brewers. Big T does not like them as much. Who break the tie? What are you doing here with the Brewers on this slate?
Yeah, I'm on the Brewers. I do like them tonight. Again, I don't know how owned they'll be because of the price tags. I mean, they're elevated price tags. On DK, you're paying, Willie Adames, 5K, Eduardo Escobar, 5.3K. We talked about it yesterday. But today's a little bit different. We've got a 15-game slate. So I think we can get one of the better offenses at a lower ownership. I'm going to keep playing Rowdy Tellez. I mean, I really like this guy. He's 3K on DraftKings, cheap on FanDuel as well. I think he's a really good, one-off tournament play tonight.
Yeah, I like Rowdy Tellez as well. I love this lineup up and down, and there's a lot of ways that you can go with it. I mean, Tyrone Taylor's been crushing the ball. He's been pretty good as of late. I don't think he really came through amazing yesterday, but I think he was fine. Wong is okay. Adames at shortstop, Narvaez. I mean, Escobar. Big T, how about Narvaez? Could he be like a nice one-off at the catcher? You talked about that within like your J stack. Could you do a Narvaez with like an Escobar?
No, I couldn't look myself in the mirror if I played him. He sucked.
All right, fair enough. I figured I'd ask, though, because I thought it wasn't a bad idea. But I like the Brewers. We'll have to see. I'm going to do my best to get a stack of them.
There's no way the Brewers are winning for you guys. I'm saying get them out of there.
We'll have to see. They're in my top 5. I like them more than you, but I think Kranick is terrible. I said it last week. Watching him, he sucks. I want to be back on him. I'm going to be back on him. So we'll have to see. Let's go over to the next game. Let's talk about the White Sox and Royals. And the White Sox, they get a really good spot. They get against the lefty in Bubic. But we saw last time, I believe Bubic pitched the last time and did pretty well against them. He had 25 fantasy points the game before, right? He had 37-30. I think that's FanDuel that I'm looking at right now. So DK, I'm sure it was a little different, but that's still not too bad. Big T, it's a slate where there's a lot of offense. Is this one of the offenses you were talking about?
Oh, man, the White Sox are maybe the most frustrating team for me because I always want to stack them because of how much I like a few of the guys, but the rest of their lineup, they might have the most lopsided lineup for me in my head of any team in baseball. I love Timmy Anderson. I love Abreu. I love Eloy against lefties. But the rest of the lineup, man, it's tough for me to play these guys. Cesar Hernandez, I never play. Lori Garcia, I never play. Sure, you could play the cheap catcher anytime if you want. I don't play Moncada against lefties. Engel sucks. He's in the 5 hole. Man, it's another mini stack team. I have no problem whatsoever playing Timmy Anderson, Abreu, Eloy, maybe one other bat if you like someone in there. But man, it's tough for me to play 5 of these guys. They have some just dusty guys, and it's tough for me to pull the trigger. I might just throw them in the one-off bucket because Timmy Anderson is one of the best plays on the board again tonight against a lefty. He's going to hit a bomb. What is his history against old Booby?
I think it was 4 for like 10 or 12. I'm not sure. Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, I don't have it up. Let me see.
Might be able to beat you to it. Let's see.
See if he's got any.
I got it for it's 4 for 12 with 2 doubles and RBI, a walk and a K.
Yeah, so nothing too crazy. Abreu's 2 for 13. 2 for 13 is terrible for Abreu. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm off. Put me off. Timmy Anderson, maybe a one-off in there. Yeah.
I feel like I've had a good read on the White Sox this year, and I not playing him in this spot. I'll tell you that. Like last time out too, I did not want to play him that. It was that minor start, and I ended up getting sucked into it because of leverage and everything. I think it's a good time to be off. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you think of the White Sox here? You got Cesar Hernandez after that trade. The lineup has gotten a little better, but I kind of agree with Tony. It's a bit of a lopsided lineup right now.
Yeah, it's they've been kind of a frustrating team. The lineup, yeah, it just doesn't look great. Moncada, I mean, I agree. I only play him really when he's against right-handed pitching, not left-handed pitching. So it really drops off after Jimenez. I mean, Anderson, Cesar Hernandez. I mean, Cesar Hernandez. I don't know if this is right or wrong, but another guy I feel that's better against right-handed pitching opposed to left-handed pitching. Abreu, Jimenez. I'll have a little bit. I mean, I don't know. You guys think they're going to be popular? Like, you think they'll have high ownership?
I don't think anybody's going to be popular.
Yeah, no one's really popular on a 15-game slate. So, yeah, I'll have a little bit of them. I mean, that last game, I believe it was in Kansas City. This is in Chicago, better ballpark. So, yeah, I'm going to have some of these guys, but I'm not going to touch the bottom of this lineup. That's for sure.
All right, let's go over to the next game. Let's talk Cardinals and Braves. And Lester is out there against the Braves, and the Braves have a better lineup, right? Austin Riley's been crushing it. Soler has been a little bit of a heater. And get Albies in the one hole. Free money, Freddie. Tony, what are you doing here? I mean, he won't be owned, right? Freeman against a lefty, but it is John Lester. I don't love this spot because I hate that ballpark with that humidor in St. Louis. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, one of the tough things about doing these shows every day is I feel like we say the same things every day, and it gets redundant, but it is what it is. I hate this ballpark. Like Mangone just said, it hasn't scored runs all season, so why are we trying to recreate the wheel, I guess? If I lose because this game goes off, I'm okay with it because this park sucks. And these pitchers are tricky enough to where I don't see a ton of upside. It's an easy fade for me. I wish it was a better park because I would play Atlanta, but not in this park. Lester's always owned me too. He does it with freaking mirrors. I think this is his first start for St. Louis. I'm pretty sure he'll want to pitch good. He's a grinder. I really see no reason to play Atlanta tonight. And I'm definitely not playing the Cardinals.
All right, Hoop. How about you? What are you doing here with this Cardinals and Atlanta game?
Yeah, I mean, it really seems like this stadium. I mean, I don't know where it ranks in terms of, overall runs, but it seems like they never score runs here. Like, it just never happens. If it was somewhere else, yeah. I mean, if this was in Atlanta, I'd love Atlanta tonight, but this ballpark is just not very friendly for hitters. Good game, I think, here to fade.
All right, and Hoop, you're the kind of person to get on people, and Joey Work is in the chat saying hit the like button. So tell the people real quick, what do we got to get to? Do we pick a number? Was it 250? Was it higher than that? We got 600 watching almost, and we got 241 likes.
So a simple number. It's got to be 3 bills. If it's not 3 bills, we're out.
All right, so let's get those moving. We got 4 games to go with, and we got Coors coming up. Big T, I'll go over to you. What are we doing here with the Coors slate? Are we fading it? It's the Cubs, first game there. Rockies, 2 teams that kind of suck, but 2 pitchers that suck. Zach Davies and Kyle Freeland on the bump. I'm sure Title is peeling to this. Are you?
No, I think this is a very easy fade. One of the easier fades for me at Coors, actually, because Freeland is better than people think. He doesn't get hit hard ever, and this lineup for the Cubs is so terrible. I mean, like, beyond belief bad. None of these guys I like, really. Contreras, maybe, I guess I like. but Freeland doesn't get hit. I mean, look at his numbers. The guy is better than people think. He just doesn't get hit hard ever. I see no reason whatsoever to go to the Cubs. And then you look at the Rockies. I mean, their lineup is kind of weak too. And Zach Davies is another guy that we say sucks and probably does suck. But I just feel like he never just gets totally bombed. And I don't know. I naturally always want to fade Coors unless something sticks out and like blows me away. Tonight, there's no way these two teams blow me away in this pitching match. And there's weather on top of it. I don't want to monitor weather all night tonight. It's just a very, very easy fade for me at Coors. I hope this game picks up some ownership because I'm not even worried about it. If it beats me, it beats me. Get me out of there on this game.
All right, Hoop, how about you? What are you doing with Coors? How are you handling it with the weather? And how are you handling it with the cash chart?
Yeah, I mean, the Cubs side, I mean, the lineup is just, I mean, it's beyond dusty. I mean, you look at this lineup, this just has to be who the hell is Frank Swindell? Andrew Romine, isn't he he was the backup shortstop for the Tigers a couple seasons ago, I believe? Like, he's terrible. I mean, Jason Hayward, this is as bad as it gets. I will say, though, like on DraftKings, Coors didn't get the Coors bump. And maybe rightfully so. I mean, when you look at these lineups, maybe it shouldn't have, but the total is still sitting at 11.5. David Boat is batting third, and he's 2.7K on DK. You got Ian Happ batting fifth, 3.6K on DK. I'm more inclined to play these guys on DK versus FanDuel, where they did get the big bump. But Freeland is, like Tony said, he can hold his own against good offenses, and tonight he gets a really, really shitty offense. So I have moderate interest on DK, probably not on FanDuel. But on the Rockies side, going against Zach Davies, I think is a much better matchup. And again, some of these guys have good price tags. Brendan Rodgers batting second, 3.4K. Second base eligible on DraftKings. I think that's a good price tag. I don't mind Blackman at 4.1K, Ryan McMahon 3.6K. Definitely like it a little bit more than Big T, but this isn't like the take your pants off Coors type slate for me.
All right, let's move on over. Let's talk about the San Diego Padres and the Oakland Athletics. And again, Blake Snell, Sean Manaea, two solid pitchers, and feels like a decent fade spot at the Oakland Coliseum. Big T, you love to talk about the Oakland Coliseum. K. Falik, I don't know if he's going to pop out of nowhere to stroke to that stadium, but I am off of this one. How about you?
Yeah, and the chat's making fun of me or us. All fades so far. Yeah, because we don't come on this show and freaking tell you to play 19 different stacks and tell you to play everyone on the slate. We liked a few teams earlier. I said I like the Yankees. I like Toronto, two big teams. I like Detroit was a third team. I said I'm going to pick five teams to stack on my 20 teams. I'm going to have 4 or 5 teams. That's 3. We're going to get to another one for sure. I like in a minute. That's 4. And then we'll find one more to go with for my 4 or 5 stacks.
If you want a website or a content site that's going to tell you to play every guy, every offense, every golfer, literally go to any other show in the industry because they're going to name off all the teams. They're going to tell you to stack them all. They're going to tell you to get a piece of this offense, a piece of this pitcher. You're going to go to golf, 156 field golf event. They're going to tell you to play 100 different guys. Wrong spot if you want that. Like we take stands here, and that's why we've been successful.
Yeah, win, lose, or draw. That's how tournaments go. Where we're okay losing a couple nights here and there, and even weeks straight. I mean, we've talked about football season. I didn't have the best football season. You just battle through. You just stick with the process. You just can't play everyone. I know I've said it the whole show. 15 game slate. You just literally you cannot play the whole slate of teams or you're not going to win because your one team that wins is probably most of the time going to like min cash or halfway up and you're going to lose money. That's not how you want the time when your team goes off and you got all your teams shooting up the board. But back to this game, I'm not playing. Manaea and Snell. Snell hasn't been great. Park sucks though for hitting. 2 decent pitchers. I know Snell's been bad at times, but I'm definitely not playing Oakland on a 15-game slate against Blake Snell in this ballpark. I don't like Manaea just because I like San Diego's offense, but I'm not playing San Diego's offense against Manaea either. So 15-game slate, easy fades here for me. I'm off.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I could do what Daryl said in the chat. I could easily be like, well, if you look at Blake Snell, he sucks and he can blow up at times. Oakland's a sneaky stack. I can say everyone's a sneaky stack, right? I can go on and say that, oh, Bumgarner, he's a lefty, he can blow up. Oh, Johnny Cueto, he sucks. You can make him an excuse for everything.
That's what these sites do, though, right? Like they do it, and then they can take victory laps on it. Like we could talk about every game. Yeah, Oakland, they could go off. San Diego could go off. You can we could talk in that lingo. We could talk in that lingo all day. I could talk up every game. I could sell you on San Diego. Austin Nola is great against left-handed pitching. You got Machado always hits. I could sell you on any team if I really wanted to.
Yeah, but there's no need for that. That's not what we do at RPS, right? We give out the winners and we do our best to help you guys out and try to narrow it down, make it easier. We don't want to just be naming every single player or team. Hoop, anything else to mention with the Padres and Oakland, or do you want to move on and talk about the Giants and Arizona?
No, I'm not playing either of these offenses.
All right, we'll talk about San Francisco and the Diamondbacks because this is a 9.5 implied total, right? And Bumgarner is not great. I know Big T can peel to some of these other guys, so we'll let him do that shortly. But what are you doing with the Giants here?
Yeah, for me, I mean, yeah, Tony mentioned I find it hard to believe that he's playing Bumgarner, especially with this lineup. I mean, he's got his boy Ruff batting third. He's got his boy Wilmer batting fourth. Slater dude batting first. I definitely have interest here in the Giants. Cheap price tags for a lot of these guys. I mean, Slater 3K, Ruff 3.9, Flores 3.8K, even Solano batting fifth 2.9K. Cheap offense to get exposure to with big time upside. When Bumgarner goes wrong, the ball's leaving the yard. I love the Giants offense again here tonight. Really like the way they put it all together. Even his boy Duggar batting seventh. So I mean, I'm expecting a reverse of course here for Big T. We'll see if I'm right or wrong.
All right, Big T. Mr. Ruff is in there. Mr. Wilmer feels like a great mini stack. Feels like a good full-on stack. Even got Duggar in the 7 hole, who it's not the best spot for him, but I wouldn't be shocked if you threw him in there. So, what are you doing here with these Giants?
Just to polish up the chat too, because I like to interact with the chat. It's another thing we do at Run Pure. I mean, the dude says, why is there 50 cores? First of all, there's not, but everyone has their own core. Like, we like different people. I don't like the same people as people always are like that. Well, why'd the playbook say this and you like that? Because I like different people. We don't have we've built our site on personalities and who we like individually. We're not going to like the same people every day. I'm not going to like the same people Hoop and Mangone like every day, which is fine. They're not going to like the same people I like, which is fine. So people can follow who they like or follow who's hot, follow who's cold, fade who's cold. You can do whatever you want with the info. People are hot, people are cold. Go with what you want. But we all only have one core on there. So if you want to follow who's, go with the person you want to follow, or put 4 or 5 teams in, play 4 or 5 different people. That's how you use the cores. We don't. Yeah, I mean, maybe we have 4 or 5 most days, sometimes more in the Discord. But I don't know what you want us to say. But we'll get So San Francisco, Arizona. I'm a little conflicted because I'm going to have San Francisco, first of all, just to clarify. That'll be my fourth stack. I love them a lot. I like them against lefties. You got Chris Bryant in there now. Slater crushes lefties. And then obviously my boys, Ruff, Wilmer. I love Casali too as a cheap right-handed catcher. I always love Casali. He always comes through for me. I like the lineup a lot. My only worry, what I was talking about with pitcher, is Bumgarner, multiple-time World Series MVP, just a gamer. The dude has been a gamer for the last however many years. Yeah, he's not as good as he once was, not saying that. But he's had some good games this year, and I think he's going to get up versus old team a little bit. I'm not like totally as in love. If it was another bad lefty, I would be all in San Francisco. I'm at least just a little cautious, if that makes sense. I'm going to have San Fran, though. I'm definitely not fading it. I'm going in on him. But don't be surprised if Bumgarner does throw a gem tonight. I'll just say that.
All right. Yeah. I don't think it's a crazy take at all. That lineup has gotten better. They got Chris Bryant in there. They got Slater at the top, was a little bit cheaper. So that helps make that, stack work a little bit. Let's move on to the last game. We got Lance McCullers and we got the Dodgers. And the Dodgers have a beefed up lineup, but they have a pretty decent total. I know we don't like Big T. I know you at least don't talk up about the individual totals, but they have a higher individual total than I thought for Lance McCullers, who's on the mound. What are you doing here with this game? Is it a full-on fade for you?
Yeah, I don't know. So this has got a chance to like be a sneaky fifth type stack for me. Either way, like I don't think Houston's totally out of play in tournaments where these teams played in the World Series. There's a lot of bad blood between the cheating scandal and everything that's gone on with these two teams. They had some battles in the playoffs, and I think it's going to be a good series, put it that way, where there's a lot of things that could happen. And these are teams, again, we talked about Toronto. These are teams that can score big time runs at low ownership where, yeah, both pitchers are good. I'm not saying these are great matchups for the hitters, but I don't think any of us would be shocked if one of these teams scored a ton of runs and went off and won the slate. We talk about it all the time, but if it's a low scoring slate and you get to these late games and you got 5 Dodgers bats, that's a good place to be, even against McCullers, because this Dodgers team with Seager back now, you got a deep lineup. I don't think Trey Turner's still out, right?
Yeah, I don't think he'll be in the lineup today.
But it doesn't really matter. These teams are stacked offensively. I think you can take these are some teams you can take a small amount of. Like I'm playing 20 teams tonight. Maybe I play 2 Dodgers teams or something where not a huge percentage. Definitely not my main team is going to be Dodgers. But maybe for my 5th stack of my night, where that's my bottom stack, I'm not scared to throw the Dodgers in there for that.
Yeah, and maybe you're on the Giants, right? And you think they're gonna. I mean, ownership doesn't matter too much on these slates, but maybe you're like, I don't love being on the Giants. Let me get for a lower on Dodgers stack. Maybe you can easily pivot to that. Hoop, are you having any interest here in the Dodgers against a guy like Lance McCullers?
Who's Yan Gomes play? The chat's talking about. Who did he get traded to?
I thought he got traded.
He's on the Athletics.
Athletics, yeah, with Josh Harrison, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of interest in the Dodgers. I mean, when McCullers, things are going wrong for McCullers, like guys are getting on base, and that obviously can lead to some big time issues. So moderate interest in the Dodgers. And again, like you're not going to need a ton to get way over the field. They're going to be low owned. It's a late game on the slate. The later this lineup comes out, the lower their ownership goes. So I don't hate that call at all. I mean, it's going to be a virtually unowned offense here on a 15-game slate. So I don't hate that call. Won't be on the Astros though.
All right. Let's look at the likes. We got 284. I got faith they can get it there. We're going to do the stacks. We're going to get it to 300 likes. Then we'll get out the plays. We got to go quick, though. So we got the premium show coming up really soon. Big T, go over your stacks again. Which ones are you on for this slate?
One more thing with the chat, too, because I keep going. Sanjay says, you guys need to stop getting sensitive. We're not sensitive. We're just interacting with the chat, explaining about our product. Believe me, I am not. I know these guys aren't either. We're not worried about what people are saying. We're just explaining the product. It has nothing to do with being sensitive. But my stacks, again, I named my 5. I'm going to be on the Yankees, the most heavy. They're chalky, but going to be on them. Toronto, Detroit, Giants, and then probably the Dodgers for my 5th stack. In that order, too. I like them pretty much in that order.
All right, Hoop, what are your stacks on this slate? Hit me with the top 5.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously I did say I'm going to be on the Yankees. I do like the Blue Jays. I think they're going to be pretty low owned. A sneaky one that I'm kind of looking at, the Tigers. I don't think many people will be on the Tigers. I do like the Brewers, and then the Giants. But the Tigers are the one sneaky one that I'm looking at here tonight.
Yeah, I would say my 4 that I got so far are Boston, Milwaukee, Yankees, and the Jays. Those are probably my 4 favorite on the slate. And I guess my sneaky one's Milwaukee, right? That's the team I feel like I'm going to be on that. Maybe others won't be on as much, right? There's a lot of big offenses on this slate, but those are my top 4. And if you look at the likes, we're at 295. I got faith. We're going to get them there. They'll pound them and get them home. So we'll go on over to the plays of the day. Hoop, I'll go over to you first. Give me your play of the day.
Ooh, lot of pressure here. A lot of pressure. We need to hit here. Okay, I got it. I'm going. Like I said, I like the Tigers today. Kind of a sneaky team. Not many people are going to be on them. Give me Eric Haas as the 4X play of the day. FanDuel, DraftKings. FanDuel, I mean, people don't play catcher, so ownership will be really, really low on a guy like Eric Haas, who I really like tonight against Garrett Richards. So Haas is the 4X play of the day.
Yep, and Big T is aligned with you there on the Eric Haas call. I'm going to head on over to the outfield. I'm going to go with Avisel Garcia on the Brewers. He's been pretty good, and I think he's going to take care of Max Kranick and take one out. So give me him as the play of the day. And I mean, last time I was with you guys, I had the good mojo, and I got Austin Riley going. So hopefully I can get that there again with Avisel Garcia and start the night off right. Big T, we'll go over to you. Hoop and I want to get the workbench play of the day. Who do you got here on this slate?
I'm going to go off the wall a little bit and give a really low-owned guy, I think, and some leverage against the melee people. But Jorge Polanco, my boy, against a righty, and it's a one-off play because he's not in my stacks, which I always like. Hoop knows this from back in the day when I had a sick baseball heater. But some of these one-offs, my favorite is when I can just jam a one-off and then kind of combine my stacks around it. Jorge Polanco is going to be that guy tonight. I love him at second base. Some of my stacks I like. I don't really need the second baseman. I mean, some of the teams you can kind of see how it would fit with Polanco. Just playing around with my builds. He's going to be in a ton of my builds. I think he hits a bomb. I think he's just crazy low owned. I mean, again, don't worry about the ownership tonight, though. It's a 15-game slate. No one's going to be owned. But it's still nice when your guy's 3% owned and he hits 2 bombs somehow. It helps things. So give me Jorge Polanco. Double dong at in Cincy tonight.
All right, Jorge Polanco it is, and we'll close it out with this because it's a nice segue. Dom West says, are y'all here to promote or do a show? We're here to do both, right? And if you don't want that, right, go to the
We're doing a free show. Yeah, we're here to promote.
Of course. Yeah. But if you don't want, any of that.
Why else would we be doing this, Mangone? Explain it to me. Why would we be doing this show for free if we weren't promoting something?
No clue. I just want to sit here and talk on a free show rather than with the subscribers, right? In the Discord chat and all the other stuff that we do. The premium show, we're going to have JSU. We're going to have Draft Cheat. We're going to have Holden on one of his days that he works, the 3 or 4 days a week that he works. So that'll wrap it up for us, though, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us. Check out that premium show over at Run Pure Sports. Use that code RPSNFL15 to get 15% off monthly payments for life. But for me, Mangone, Hoop, and Big T, see you guys later.